Houston Texans on the road at the Kansas City Chiefs. This is 8.5 out there. There are a couple of 8s that have popped now, actually. So this thing got as high as 9.5, Mo. We've seen some people come in on Houston, 41.5, the prevailing total out there. Kansas City, 2 weeks to prepare for this game. And then Houston, look, convincing win, but on the scoreboard, but man, I don't know. You rewatched that game, and because I was like, what did I miss in this thing? I rewatched it, and I'm like, I don't really know if I missed anything. It just kind of like the game was what it was. What do you think here as Houston heads to Kansas City?
Yeah, I thought Houston was still pretty sloppy.
Yeah.
Pretty poor on offense generally. The defense obviously played very well, but can they do that again on the road against a better offense here and a much better quarterback? I'm skeptical, but I'm also skeptical that the Chiefs can cover double digits here. So nothing for me, I don't think, in the major markets. I think it's overall a good matchup for the Chiefs. I mean, they get Jalen Watson back. I think that's pretty big. A lot of people probably don't even know who that is.
Right.
He's like the Chiefs CB2, but when he's getting replaced by literal replacement level guys, which is pretty much what happened. Like when you look back at the Bills game, they just picked on this guy Najee Johnson over and over and over. And that game and a couple others were similar, where just these spots that Jalen Watson left are getting picked on. And now that he's back, I think that's big for the Chiefs.
So you're close to up there. We're going to be getting like low to mid 20s. It doesn't look like the wind's going to be terrible, though there will be some wind out there, but no precipitation or anything like that. I mean, Mo, these guys are pros. I get all that. Houston does play in a dome. They are a air quote warm weather team heading outdoors to Kansas City and all of that. I mean, does that at all kind of play into what you're thinking too?
Yeah, medium strength winds, low temperatures also makes me a bit to expect that this is a low-scoring game. I think, the market definitely does. We've seen it, I think, 42.5 and just get kind of inched down to 41.5 and then finally meet some resistance there, I think. I think that's right. All the Texans really have left is Nico Collins. I mean, yeah, Joe Mixon had a good year, but this Chiefs run defense has been elite. They shut Mixon down the first time these teams played. I don't think that should really be close to enough for this Houston offense. I mean, he's got a tough matchup with Trent McDuffie, but these bigger guys have given Trent McDuffie some problems. Collins gave him some problems the first time they played. I think it's going to be a lot of dinking and dunking from the Chiefs, too. That's the other thing. It's like, this is going to be a really low ADOT game from the Chiefs, I think. It's been like that all year. Mahomes is, I think, third from the bottom in the ADOT. And you look at this game, I mean, these Texans corners are really, really tough to beat deep. So I don't think the Chiefs are really going to try that. I think they're just going to try to matriculate. And we are going to see some longer drives in this game. I think another thing that hurts Houston in this game, I mean, this sounds ridiculous, but like even Robert Woods is hurt. I mean, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. These are replacement level receivers at this point. We saw that last week. Multiple drops. I mean, John Mechie is, great story, but he's not. Yeah. He's not the guy you want on the field in these spots. And I think a big problem for Houston is also that they're very focused on, like, a lot of their strength is up front on defense, and the Chiefs O-line has been much better since Joe Thuney moved to left tackle. I think they just announced today he is going to be back at left tackle, even though DJ Humphries is available. And Patrick Mahomes, last time these teams played, 47 dropbacks. He got sacked once. So I just think that just shows you how he can mitigate that strength for this Houston defense.
Biggest coaching mismatch in the playoffs, right? By far. I understand nobody likes Sirianni, and certainly Sean McVay and his staff showed what geniuses they are last week. We'll get to that game in a little bit, but Andy Reid and his staff against what's going on in Houston. I mean, it's got to be, right?
Yeah, multiple weeks to prepare to. I mean, that's obviously scary. Everybody knows Andy Reid's record with extra time to prepare. So a lot of stuff lining up Chiefs, but I just can't get there on a bet because it's just a couple things. Low scoring game, big line. And then another thing, you just look back. I mean, like these teams played not that long ago. Less than a month ago, the Chiefs were -3.5, -4 at home. So how did we get up to -8.5? I mean, yeah, like was that line not long enough? Probably, but I don't know if the difference is this big.
I look at this Chiefs team, and I guess I'm just it's a deal where I guess I'll buy into the narrative here of what Andy Reid does throughout the course of the season and then what he does when he gets to the playoffs just being completely different. I used to kind of scoff at that, Mo, where it's like he would save the good plays or he just did all the different stuff. And then you like see how this team really does take it to the next level in the playoffs. And I'm kind of starting to come around on this whole deal of Andy Reid cares about winning games in the regular season, but he doesn't care about being flashy. He doesn't care about what the score is. He just wants to win the games and then get to the playoffs, and then that's when he really turns things up. And I look at Kelce sitting here at 5.5 receptions, right? And I get it. He's only averaging about 5 catches a game on the year. But I don't know if some of that isn't like load management for a dude that's getting up there in age and is such an important part of the offense when it does come down to the stretch time. I don't know how Kelce doesn't get 9 or 10 targets in this game. And a lot of his targets are high percentage catches as it is anyway. And so if he's getting the 9 or 10 targets like I think he's probably going to get, I can't keep myself off the over 5.5 catches. So again, like I said, I might be a sucker. I might be buying into the narrative here, but like, I don't know how he's not yet again another major part of this playoff push, a high percentage target guy as it is anyway. And him and Mahomes just with that weird deal when Mahomes does actually get flushed from the pocket and just how he's able to find himself and get open for all of that. And so I played me some Kelce over 5.5 receptions.
Listen, you're preaching to the choir on Kelce as far as load management goes. I've been saying the Chiefs need to start managing his workload for 3 years now. So, I mean, we saw what happened last year in the playoffs. Obviously, performed much better than he did in the regular season. I looked over anytime touchdown stuff for this game too. Honestly, if I was going to make one bet in this game, it would probably be Kelce anytime. It's like I think you can get like plus 160. I looked up some stuff on the way Houston played against the Chargers, and basically, so Ladd McConkey obviously was the only thing positive that happened for the Chargers offense in that entire game. He had, I think, 9 for 197, which was absolutely outrageous. And he lines up in the slot, I think, more than 50% of the time for the season. And I actually looked the last time the Chiefs played a serious game. I can't recall if it was this Texans game or maybe the week after, but Travis Kelce was tied for first on the team in slot snaps. So they lined him up in the slot a ton. I think if they're in any sort of pinch or, red zone, third down, big spots, I think they might just line Kelce up in the slot again because that looks like that's where you want to attack this Texans defense.
And to kind of just further this and not to just beat this home, but again, if you're trying to make bets in this game, like Patrick Mahomes just attacked the middle of the field all season long, right? I mean, he 282 attempts between the hashes over the course of the season, third most amongst all quarterbacks in the NFL. And while Houston, as you said, is really good on the outside, is really good wherever, they actually allowed like the 10th most yards over the middle, and so it's probably it's just they're probably okay with playing defense that way, right? Which is just like, hey, we're not going to allow you the big plays on the outside, and if you want to kind of like keep it in the middle of these guys and stuff, we'll allow the little smaller stuff. But again, that just plays into this whole Kelce stuff that we're talking about, right? Which is if Mahomes, and we know Mahomes is the dude that learned 3 years ago, I'm just going to take what people give me. Like it was the only knock against Mahomes in his whole career was defenses were like, oh, we're going to make you get out of your comfort zone. And this is the stuff you don't want to do. And it took him all of half a season to adjust to like, oh, okay, y'all want to give me this. I'll just take this and I'll just take this and I'll take this. And we'll just march down the field as opposed to taking these big chunk plays and stuff. And so I think everything just comes up Kelce here. I think he has a massive, massive, massive game in this one. So I love Kelce. ladders on this as well. The over 5.5. I played over 6.5. I played over 7.5. I have yardage and things like that. And I'm going to go ahead, just because you said it, since I'm all in on Kelce as it is anyway, and throw a damn anytime touchdown in there as well. Because I just think that this is, everything just comes up Kelce in here with the way that even with the way the Texans play defense.
I mean, when you're talking about just like market value too, I mean, Kelce was a guy who spent most of the year at like plus 120. It's probably started the year like minus 105 in a lot of these games. So, I mean, the price has gotten to where it's reflective of how he has played in the past.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, I don't know how well that projects how he's going to play in the future.
If there is only one knock on this Houston defense, once you get into the red zone, it's hard to get in the red zone. So once you get in the red zone, they allow touchdowns. Like they just it's 30th in the NFL in red zone touchdown rate allowed. Like it's tough to get there on them. But like once you do, you can score touchdowns on them. So again, another thing that just points Travis Kelce for me. Also, don't hate a teaser leg here. I think Kansas City wins this game a very, very, very high percentage of the time. I understand if you don't want to lay 8.5 out there, guys. Like I said, there's 8s available too. So you could get that thing down under 2.5 without even taking the full 6 points in a teaser. And I don't hate that angle at all here in that one either. Again, guys, everything we do, absolutely free. Go in, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead. Let us know in the comment section. How wrong are we? Why is Houston going to win the game? What did we miss here? Let us know in the comment section. Do appreciate that. A thumbs up as well. And good luck on all your Houston, Kansas City bets.